This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host Emily Campagno. Also joining us today, Fox Business anchor Dagan McDowell, Fox News contributor Lisa Booth, and former Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy. Plus, we have a special guest joining the couch later this show. Roseanne Barr is going to slide on in. You don't want to miss it. Woo, it's going to be hot this hour. Let's begin, though, with the shocking new details and growing health concerns with that fiery derailment of a train carrying, now we know more than ever, toxic chemicals in Ohio. They gave us a little bit of a piece of it. Now we know it's much worse, many more chemicals. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg finally addressed the crash, but only on Twitter, after facing bipartisan criticism for ignoring it. It happened on February 3rd, so 11 days ago in East Palestine, Ohio. About 50 cars, including 20 carrying hazardous materials, veered off the track in the crash, erupting in a massive fire. And today we are learning those cars were packed with even more toxic chemicals than were originally reported. Nearby homes were evacuated after one of those cancer-causing agents slowly released from the crash site. Authorities then decided to ignite a controlled burn, and that set off massive plumes of black smoke filled with more dangerous toxins, including phosgene. That's a colorless gas that was used as a weapon during World War I. But days later, people who lived there were told it was safe to go back to their homes. Some now complain of trouble breathing. Some are now pleading for federal help and asking for urgent testing. Still, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has said very little about any of it. Again, he had that one tweet. Instead, he's making cringy balloon jokes and talking about how construction workers, well, there are too many white construction workers. Watch.
We have heard way too many stories from generations past of infrastructure where you got a neighborhood, often a neighborhood of color, that finally sees the project come to them, but everyone in the hard hats on that project looking like, doing the good paying jobs, don't look like they came from anywhere near the neighborhood.
So you live in a house. Does it ever matter to you, particularly the color of the skin of the person who built it? Look, representation's important. We got stuff blowing up, stuff falling out of the sky, stuff flying over. The
people of East Palestine, Ohio, and folks across the country who are just like them do not live in this sphere that matters to Pete Buttigieg and the Biden administration, and that is the politically delicious world of intersectionality. Democrats, liberals, and the left have repeatedly denigrated people like those who are now living in this Chernobyl, if you will, that is East Palestine, Ohio, calling them deplorables, bitterly clinging to their guns and Bibles, smelly Walmart shoppers. I can go down the list of ways that the left and people, quite frankly, like Buttigieg and people who represent Biden and his administration, even Biden himself, have showed their disdain that runs deep and wide. But Pete Buttigieg has really hit a new low here. You mentioned this was February the 3rd.
Yeah.
And the fact that it took Ilhan Omar going on Twitter and shining a light on how embarrassing he is and really plumbing new depths of heartlessness by ignoring what is a toxic waste site with farm animals dying, thousands of fish dying in creeks, questions about whether the Ohio River is now contaminated. And he couldn't pick up his phone and maybe record a video for the people of East Palestine, Ohio, from empathy to antipathy.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful.
Look, Sean, I said this last hour. This administration has about as much transparency as Elmer's glue that's dried. I mean, it is opaque.
Well, yes, so first off, to Dagan's point, fish are dying, animals are dying, and the government comes in and says it's safe to move back. The reason is that in East Palestine, 70% of them voted for Donald Trump. Only 30% voted for Joe Biden. Is it politics at play here? And by the way, Harris, I thought this was an administration, above all else, yes, they care about ESG, yes, they care about race, but more than anything, they care about the environment. This is an environmental disaster, and they're nowhere to be found. And we had this in our show, The Bottom Line, yesterday. Liz Peek made the point. Is it because they have denigrated pipelines and have tried to push people to go to rail and trucks? And here you have a rail disaster that's a massive disaster. And maybe that says, hey, let's go back to pipelines.
Everything says, hey, let's go back to pipelines.
Right.
The gas prices, our inability to do real deals with people that we had been. You know, Biden's not popular with OPEC.
No, he's not. They don't like him much.
Everything says, why did you cancel the pipelines rather? So, Emily, you're living in this part of the country, Pennsylvania right next door. The Ohio River mentioned by Dagan. You got a lot going on right in that area, high, dense population there. Our food is touched. Our food supply is touched by this with the livestock that are there. So much that we need to be concerned with, not to mention the human life, the livelihoods, all of it. Not one thing other than a tweet. And as Dagan pointed a video, I'm greedier than that. I'm going to need the President of the United States with Buttigieg next to him to talk.
Right, but that's something that has been lacking from this administration this entire time, which is true empathy and an understanding of what the American people are going through. And that's been the argument of the Midwest and the millions of people who live in it for so long, which is that the seasons affect us greatly in this rail line. Things matter to us very much. And so when you scoff at flyover country, or when you fail to recognize the import of railroad safety transporting hazardous chemicals or the results of things, our voices matter just as much as those in DC or on the coast. And I have to point out, you know, what this calls to mind some of the seminal civil action cases in law, which are essentially catastrophic, disastrous instances like this, where townspeople were over and over again placated. Nothing to see here. You are just fine. Don't worry about it. Because again, that power differential has been so strong in this country. Less than hazardous is still harmful. Less than actionable is still impactful. So when we are hearing fellow Americans that say, my livestock are being killed,
the
fish
dead.
are dead, I have sores, I'm itchy, I have a sore throat, and the like, that matters just as much as the EP saying, well, it hasn't written to level XYZ yet, and so there's nothing to see here. There is something to see there, and it's Americans.
Well, and to your point, Emily, I mean, we're talking about phosgene, which is used in chemical warfare, yet the EPA is saying there's nothing to see here, the water's fine, when you've got thousands of fish for miles popping up dead animals, people saying they're nauseous, they can't breathe, their eyes are burning. And I can't help but wonder, to Sean's point, if this was happening in Ukraine, would the left care more? Would the media care more instead of a Trump county? Is that why this has been ignored for so long by most of the media? And beyond that, I wonder, is something bigger at play here? There just seems to be too many things going on in the country. You're talking about multiple flying objects. We're talking about multiple train derailments. We're talking about the FAA for the first time since 9/11 grounding all planes. We're talking about power outages going out on Capitol Hill. Social media went down recently. Airports with power outages. So I don't know. It just seems to be a lot of things coinciding at the exact same time for it to just be a coincidence.
And that's the thing. So for anybody who would argue, oh, that's conspiracy thinking talking, when you are so silent with the facts and people are living lives with doubt and with pain and with death now of their livestock, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to think? If you aren't going to help them, they're suffering. They're going to think nefarious things about the people who refuse to help.
Well, and how could we not help these people? Right. Well, this is a national emergency. I mean, this is a crisis happening in America. And how wide is this going to spread? I mean, we're not just talking about East Palestine. We're talking about, you know, who knows how long this is going to go on. Vinyl chloride causes cancer alone.
Yes, it does.
And then you're talking about all these other things.
The only reason that we know about all the chemicals.
Not going to forget about he's going to remember the forgotten men and women. These are for the forgotten men and women. Joe Biden, stand up now and remember them like you said he would at the State of the Union.
Yeah. There you go.
The only reason we know about additional chemicals on that train, there are 3 additional chemicals that were revealed, was a letter from the EPA to Norfolk Southern that came out at the end of last week. And I have a copy of it right here. Otherwise, the people of that town would know nothing.
It's heartbreaking, and it's not acceptable.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.